We're on.
Yeah.
Are we live, actually? Welcome. This is Between Two Terns. My guest today is Heidi Roy-Borland. She is, well, I'll let her tell you about her. But first, a couple of reminders. This news replaces News and Notes, which usually comes out on Friday. And this is our last Between Two Terns of the season as we're wrapping up the 2017-18 school year. A very successful school year with lots of good memories. But we wanted to kind of end the school year with Between Two Terns telling people about things that go on after the regular school year ends, and that's why you're a special guest of ours. So Heidi, I know who you are, but maybe our guests don't. Can you tell us like what your title is and what goes into all of that?
Sure. So I'm Heidi Roy-Borland, and my title here at Whitmore Lake Public Schools is I'm the Early Literacy and Data Coach at the elementary school.
Oh.
And yeah,
A
lot of words, I know. So what that means is I work mostly with staff members to improve literacy instruction as well as literacy opportunities for all of our students.
Okay. But you said you're a coach, so do you get a whistle and a clipboard? Or?
Well, unfortunately, no, not in this role.
You don't get the blow whistle?
No, so I get to work a lot with teachers and keeping them updated on the current research about instruction, sometimes modeling that instruction in classrooms or at staff meetings or sharing articles or other fun
So
facts.
professional coaching, no, much different. Okay, good. No, that's actually it's a really important position. I don't mean to make light of it. It's especially important with some of the new laws that have come into play in Michigan involving early literacy, especially, and Washtenaw County is really front and center on challenging and trying to get better at early literacy. So, and I know you're very well respected in this region. So I'm glad you can join us. How long have you been with Whitmore Lake Public Schools?
I'm now what you would call a veteran staff member here at Whitmore Lake Public Schools. I started in 1999, and all 19 of my years have been at the elementary school.
All right. Okay, good. So you got me by a few. Cool.
I do.
All right, so one of the things that I know we do that's coming up right after school is out, the official end of school, what everyone thinks is the end of school, is book bingo, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So tell me and our viewers a little bit about what book bingo is.
Sure. So book bingo is Monday night, June 4th, from 6 to 7:30 at the elementary school. And if I had to pick this, I would say this is my favorite event that we do all year. I can't remember if it's the third or fourth year we've done it, but it started back with an idea from a school visit. What we do at Book Bingo is kids come, and they are going to get a book bin this year, and they'll get a bingo card, and they'll come into the cafeteria, and we'll play literacy-themed bingo, and every time a kid gets a bingo, they pick out a book.
Nice.
And most kids go home with 10 to 20 books. Our goal is to give every student in our school at least 10 new books for summer reading.
That's awesome. It's really important. I would say, and Lindsay Collins is watching, and she said you're a superhero. I think it's a superhero thing to do. I always want to encourage people to read with your kids, and I always challenge dads to do it because it's not just a mom's thing. Dads should get involved in this too. So giving them books, letting them pick them up, that's great. Good stuff. You answered, what the driving, force is behind book bingo, and I think I said why I think it's so important, but I mean, reading over the summer has a big impact on how you start in the fall. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, the main reason we do it is summer learning loss is real, especially in the area of reading. And the good thing is that it's preventable, and the way we prevent it is by getting kids reading. And so the most recent research about reading, especially in the summertime, is it needs to be very engaging for our kids. So two things that we can do to make it engaging for kids is one, to provide access to books. If kids don't have a big library at home, we can help provide that through Book Bingo. Also giving kids choice in the books. So Book Bingo does both of those things.
Now, when I was young, we used to go to the library, right?
Yeah.
And that sometimes is a little out of vogue of late, but we have a great relationship with Northfield Township Library, do we not?
We do, and it's getting stronger. I've been working very closely with Zaylee and Jessica this spring, and we have a lot of wonderful partnership events planned with them.
Okay. This year we've, or is it next year we're planning more and more? Do we have kindergarten trips going? Was that this year?
Yeah, actually starting Monday. On Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, all of our kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade students will be taking a walking field trip to the library. And while they're there, Zaylee will take them on a tour of the library. The younger kids will have a story time with Zaylee, and the older kids will participate in a book tasting at the library, and they'll also share all of their summer programming ideas. And we've also been collecting library card applications, so I've taken, at least 200 applications over to them already, so any kid that has that filled out or already has a library card will also be able to check out books.
That's awesome. I would tell you one of my favorite things in my job is when a student at the elementary school shows me his or her library card. I just find that to be the hands down one of the greatest things in the world, because it just says a whole lot. First of all, I'm happy they're proud of it, but I know they're going to be reading. So, this coming August, we're hosting a pretty neat event at our football field. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. So the event at the football field is one of 4 events we have planned. 3 of them will be in tandem with the library. They're hosting community picnics, so WLES staff will be there to do to hang out and visit and see everybody over the summer, but also to do a read aloud and then have books to give away at all of those picnics. So the 4th one is going to take place at our football field. So I've been working with our athletic department. We're going to have fall athletes there. So the fall high school athletes will meet and greet our kids. The kids, again, will have a read aloud with staff and have books to give away to them, and then they'll have an opportunity to read with our high school athletes. So it'll be a great time to bring the 2 buildings together. And
so you don't actually have to stop reading once you get out of elementary school?
Maybe we'll rope those big kids
Those
too.
big kids have to read too.
Yeah.
They do quite a bit actually, but we like to just encourage the younger kids, let them know that big kids do still read. It's a big part of being a big person. So, all right. So on top of these events, this summer, we also run a summer literacy camp, and this is in like kindergarten through 3rd grades. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So Michigan, they have a grant. It's called the Additional Instructional Time Grant, and it's part of the K through 3rd grade Early Literacy Initiative. And so we're using some of those grant dollars to host a 2-week summer literacy camp, and it's by invitation only because we do have limited spaces, limited staff, because our goal is to have small group instruction where you can really target students' reading needs to help give them a boost before the school year. And so kindergarten through 3rd grade students that are being invited, your invitations are in your mailboxes right now at school, so they'll be coming home, parents.
Yeah. I know we have a great teaching staff, and we make a lot of gains from September through June. But what really helps is getting everyone as close to that grade level line, and I think it's really important if people, if your son or daughter is off track a little bit, take advantage of the summer. There is absolutely no rule that says learning has to stop in the summertime. It's kind of a travesty that the whole system is set up that way. You know, we all love our break, but the break really should involve more practice.
Mm-hmm.
So
Agreed.
That's what I think, and I'm glad you agree with it. So, and you're doing so much great stuff. You really are a superhero. I think that's awesome. So, we have another question from a former student. I think we graduated from Whitmore Lake High School. What about kids who can't come to book bingo? I think we mentioned the library opportunities and things like that, but
we have that covered too.
Okay.
So, like I said earlier, we have, well, I don't know if I said it early, but I have over 5,000 books stored in my classroom right now. So we plan for at least 10 books per kid. So kids that can't come to book bingo on Monday night, on Tuesday morning, I take all of those books that are left over, because we do have several, and they're boxed up by grade level. They're delivered to grade level teams, and all of the teachers are awesome about finding a time between June 5th and the end of the year to play book bingo in their classrooms or as a grade level. So those kids will still get their book bins that they've decorated tags for, and their 10 books for the summer.
That's great. Excellent. So doing all this stuff, creating all these events, I mean, it's kind of inherent in the position, but what drives you to do all this?
It's always the kids.
Always the kids. Isn't that
Always
funny how
the
that works?
kids.
Yeah, cool. Well, I like that too. We work pretty hard for the kids, and I think you're a good example of that, Heidi, so thank you. In addition to all the literacy stuff, I know you do a little bit with playground
Little
projects.
bit. I've been a little busy on that this year.
Yeah, and I joke, I think I've been invested a lot more in playgrounds than I ever thought I would be, but you put me to shame at how much you've done, and you've been a real force behind fundraising for it. They have you listed as the coordinator of the playground project, the Project Playground. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So we've noticed a need at our school, and that need is on the playground. So together with the district, our building has been fundraising for new equipment, because we know with certain dollars can be spent on certain things, and one of them is in equipment. So our target is $50,000, and about a half hour before I left the elementary school today, our new total was $45,000. I think 200 and I don't remember 40, but we've surpassed like the 90% mark on our fundraising, but we still have that last push to go. So
All right.
we have a few opportunities for people to get involved. We're still selling the Hungry Howie's pizza coupons,
Okay.
which are a great deal for your family, and also we get 75% of the money back to the school. We also still have our Pledge Sense Drive going.
Yep.
And we're starting to recruit volunteers for Community Build Day, but it hasn't just been me doing the work, it's been all the other staff members have either given up time or energy or expertise in helping to plan. Also a lot of time spent with the kids. The kids did an amazing job raising nearly $5,000 in pennies, nickel, dimes, and
Yeah,
dollar
that's
bills
awesome.
that just surpassed our expectations. So it's been a true community effort.
Good. I've seen so many times we've risen to the occasion, and this one was an aggressive goal. The district, like you mentioned, we know we have, from the ground up, we have a lot of issues with that playground. Unfortunately, as a district, we can only spend money really from the ground up so far, and then our funding source has to change, and we're going for grants. We'll find out if we have a big grant. We haven't found out yet if we've won that, but a couple more weeks, that would be awesome. But one way or the other, those kids are going to have a new playground, and if we can get to that $50,000 mark, we can just buy the type of equipment that we think would make it a very, very special place. So thanks for putting in all your time with that. You probably didn't know that when you were studying to be a teacher, that you'd be, there's things that I'm like, I didn't know that I'd be doing this when I was in college, but you probably didn't think you'd be learning about poured-in-place surfaces versus pre-manufactured wood chip fiber and all that stuff, right? So,
True.
yeah. So, well, that's what some of the things I've learned this year. Thanks for sharing the book bingo, the literacy stuff. It's awesome. Really, you are, throughout the county, people rave about Heidi, and we're happy and lucky that she's here. So I'm glad some of the people are commenting online about this, and we agree. So as we conclude our final Between Two Terns, we're happy you're our last guest. Do you have any questions that you'd like to ask me?
I do.
Yeah,
I
fire
have
away.
a couple of questions for you.
More than one, okay.
So I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about how when I was little and learning to read, I did with my older sister. My sister's 2 years older, and we would read in our bedroom by our nightlight because we didn't want our
Yes.
parents to know. So my older sister was teaching me how to read. And so the book that I remember, that what I call my hook book that got me hooked on reading, it was Dick and Jane. So I'm wondering, what was your hook book? What's the one you remember?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I don't even know that I can. When I remember getting hooked on reading, it was the same thing. I had an older sister, and she was 3 years older than me, and she would read thrillers, like and scary stuff. And she read Amityville Horror. I don't know if you remember this. It's a very scary movie, and I found it, and I was probably too young to read it, but I did just what you did. I snuck it in, and it scared me. But I remember being in 5th grade, and I was hooked on reading. Yeah, I could tell you some of the early authors, but they're probably no one knows about them now. But I read many of those types of books before they were even movies, and that's when I started, I don't. If I read a book about a movie, I don't go to a movie. I can't do that. Never.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
Yep. So yeah.
One more question.
One more. Jeez.
So, like you said, we've learned a lot beyond what we went to school for in education. So if you were not superintendent and principal here at Whitmore Lake, what would you do?
I would be a professional ski racer.
Very nice. All right.
That's what I would want to do. My parents would have probably made me been an engineer. So,
Okay.
Yeah. So a little bit more practical. So I do enjoy the projects and the work and things like that, and I enjoy solving problems, and that's a lot of things engineers do. So,
Sure.
yep.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thanks for turning the tables on me and asking me a couple of hard ones, and I'll be reflecting on that book question for a while now. But I appreciate it. And thanks to all of your comments and all of our listeners or our viewers this year. We'll be back next year with more of these video casts. What do we call them? Facebook Lives. And we'll wrap up our news and notes with kind of a best of edition in the coming weeks. I want to congratulate the class of 2018. They're graduating this Sunday. That'll be Facebook Live streamed, I imagine, as well. And if you can make it, great. It's a big event, and it's a good way to kind of end the year for our seniors and kind of signal to the rest of our kids that let's get after it this summer. You're going to be students with us again next year, and there's always work to be done, especially in reading.
Right. Pick up a book.
There you go. Good night.